Hi everyone, this is Brian Bailey. I want to start off by telling you thank you for taking time out of your busy day, your busy schedule, to join this particular training session and review what it's going to take for you to be an absolute phone master when it comes to handling the leads, the referrals, all the things that come in from the radio campaign. We're going to start off by introducing myself, Brian Bailey, and my partner, Jamie Delaney. Jamie, say hi.
Hello, everybody.
And Jamie and I are going to be walking you guys through the Phone Mastery Handbook that Jamie has so wonderfully put together, and unbelievable content and information. But also, we're going to be going through the phone scripts and dialogues that are built and designed for you to succeed with the actual leads that are coming in from the radio campaign. The first thing that you need to know is, as you see here on your screen, you need to go to the Team XIP Radio Central, the Radio Team Central blog, which is xipcentral.org. That's xipcentral.org. And please make sure that you subscribe to the feed that Jamie puts out. That way you get information on the actual radio campaign. That's very important. But also, this particular blog, it has got the training manuals and the links to each one, just in case you do not have a copy of the Phone Mastery Handbook and or the Phone Mastery scripts. And so you can always go to xipcentral.org and get that. You can click on this and you can always download the scripts from each of and the Phone Mastery Handbook from each of the pages there. All you got to do is click on that and it will manually download. Before we jump into this, I think it's important that we discuss a couple of details about the radio campaign. The radio ad, and most of you guys are going to be able to hear that once we post it on the actual site, the radio ad itself has got a main 1-800 rotational number. That rotational number that's on the ad, if you hear the ad on the radio or if you hear it online or whatever it may be, we ask you, please do not call that particular number. The reason is because every single time you call, it may rotate the system to someone else or drop information in somebody's box. It's just clogging up the system, and we just ask that you please don't call that particular number. And always remember that when people call and leave their name, their voice, their email address, they leave their telephone number on the voicemail, when it's your slot, when your spot comes up, the system will automatically drop that voicemail into your voicemail box in the telecenter 1-800 rotational system, and you're going to receive an email. And I know Jamie and I have spoken of this before, but I think it's important you guys know that there's going to be people that hang up. And as they call in, you're going to get an email letting you know that you have a hang-up lead. It's going to give you the telephone number of the person, but you do not have the name. And we're going to talk a little bit about what it is that you need to do with those people when you do have those hang-up leads. So that's very important for you guys to know, because those could be some really good, solid leads for you, even though they did not leave their information. And so I'm going to turn this over for Jamie to introduce herself, and then I'll bring some things up on the screen, and we'll talk about the Phone Mastery Handbook. Jamie?
Thank you, Brian. Okay, first of all, if you have not yet opened up and downloaded and printed your copy of the Phone Mastery Handbook, if you would, just go ahead and pause this right now and print it out, because we're going to be going through this together. It's not hard, but we do want to go through this together. I want you to have this in your hands while you're going through this. So hopefully that you've already printed it, but if not, you can just hit the pause button and go ahead and download it. Okay, so I'm assuming that everybody has their handbook, and I want to just begin by telling you guys that the content that is in here are things that we have found to be absolutely true and to work every single time. You're going to have a result. We're going to tell you what some of those different results may be. It's not always the result that we want, but we have a lot of experience in this. Brian and I have literally, and people on our team, we have made thousands and thousands of phone calls like this to people, whether it be from internet marketing or from our radio ads. So this comes with a lot of experience, and so we trust it. This is merely suggestions for you guys. You certainly can do whatever you want to do with your phone leads, but this is what we suggest. So let's just jump right on in. And I want to go straight to the content, because we want to keep this as short as we can for you guys. And we're going to go to the IT list. And, you know, the success and longevity of your business, it completely relies on your ability to have people to talk to. We are in the people business. So if we don't have someone to talk to, our business is stagnant. It's at a standstill. And that's what the radio is all about, giving us fresh people to talk to. So the first thing that we always have to understand is that if we don't have a list, if we don't have people that we're talking to, then our business is going nowhere. So what we're going to try to explain to you today is how advertising plus a few expert skills that we're going to give you through this handbook and with our phone scripts is going to bring you success in this radio campaign. But, you know, the ultimate result is going to be in what you do with what you learn here. The money is not in the leads. It's in the results that you get from these leads. It's in what you do with them. So if the money is not in the list, the money is in the follow-up. It's when you pick up the phone and call these people, and you're going to hit some, you're going to miss some. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to get a well-rounded experience with radio, and I think especially with this ad. So that's the first thing that you need to understand, is that you do need to have a list, and that's what we're going to be providing you with the radio ad, is a list of people that you can call that are interested in your business. So what is the big thing that that everybody, I don't care how many times you have, you know, talked to someone in your business, from the top people in this business to the brand new person, they are going to be afraid to pick up the phone. You are going to be afraid to pick up the phone. When it's that first call, you're going to be nervous. I know, because I get that way, Brian gets that way, everybody gets that way. But, you know, fear, you know, we all know the acronym for that, you know, false evidence appears real. And so, you know, all that fear is just, it's false information. All it takes is picking up the phone. So the way that you beat reluctance is just by simply picking up the phone, not worrying about whether someone says yes to you or says no to you. What your job to do is not to sell and convince people. It is simply to pick up the phone and put your information out there. So remember this going in. If you're scared, if you're reluctant, then that just means you are a normal human being, because everybody has that fear. We're all like that. So, you know, this isn't about eliminating that fear. This is about overcoming it. You know, when you feel afraid, just move on through that, because you never know who is going to be on that call. So, as practical matters,
Jamie, can I jump in? Jamie, can I jump in real
yes,
quick?
yes.
I just want to talk a little bit about that mindset, because those people that are listening and you haven't been in sales for any time, maybe this is the first time you've ever talked to someone, just realize one thing. You're not making a cold call to these people. These people have actually heard a radio campaign. They're dialing in to get more information. Basically, they're asking you to call them. Always keep that in your head. I mean, they've asked for somebody to contact them. They've left their information. It's very important that you guys realize that, because it'll overcome a lot of that fear. The nervousness, that nervous energy is very good for you. It keeps you on your toes. It keeps you sharp. But the fact of the matter is that they contacted that 1-800 number because they want more information on what you guys have to offer. And remember, you're the ones with the cookie. You're the ones with the information. You're the ones with the opportunity. You're the ones with the patch. And they want to know what this stuff is all about. So the key is in your hands. That should overcome a lot of that fear. But again, Jamie's right. If you do have fear, that's normal. And again, work through that. Pick up that phone. After the first phone call or two, you're going to realize that these people don't bite. Then the phone doesn't bite, and you're going to be just fine as long as you follow the dialogues that we're going to lay out for you. Okay, Jamie.
That's absolutely right, Brian. And as far as practical matters go, this is all about adjusting your attitude. You know, I always tell people when they first start doing this not to focus on what the response is from your first few people. You know, we believe in experiential learning. You know, when I first met Brian, he threw me right out there, and it took me many phone calls before I ever got anybody interested. But what you're going to come away with from this is more valuable than successful results with people. You are going to come out, when you're finished doing this radio campaign, you're practically going to be an expert at this. You're going to be comfortable and relaxed while you're presenting, no matter who you're presenting to. You're going to be experienced. You're going to have confidence. You're going to have skills that you could not have learned any other way than by participating in this. Your knowledge is going to increase, which means your credibility is going to be bigger, and you're going to naturally ease into momentum because you have learned and gained knowledge that most of the people in Xperia know nothing about. So when it comes to your Xperia business, you're going to have a knowledge and an expertise and something that you can really offer people because you are an expert in radio now. So one thing I always like to tell people when you're on the phone, remember this, and please write this down. This is very, very important. Some will, some won't, so what? And your attitude should just be next, because you are going to have plenty of people to talk to, and so you don't have to get hung up on one person and their response. And you're going to get some funny things, and you're going to get some crazy things. And so that leads me into the next page of avoiding frustration. And maybe not even avoiding it because, that may not be the right terminology there, but guarding against it and knowing how to deal with it, because you will get frustrated. And write that down. You will get frustrated. I've had people, we could tell you the funniest things that have happened to us, but for the sake of time, we're not going to do that. You're going to get some kooky people, and you're going to get some really good people. And you'll learn as you do this over and over throughout the day for 2 weeks, you'll be able to qualify who's kind of good and who's just, pulling your leg or maybe taking up your time. But, I want to, again, I want to tell you guys, and I really want you to pay attention to what I'm saying right now. You are going to get a lot of hang-up calls. And every campaign that Brian and I do, we get people calling us and emailing us and saying, I got 5 hang-ups. And we're like, great, you've got their phone number, call them anyway. If you get a hang-up, that's good, because that means the system stays on your name until you get a viable call that did not hang up. You may get 5 leads. It's actually great if you get some hang-ups, because a lot of those people that hung up, they're still interested. Please call your hang-ups. Please call them. Please don't email us and say, I got a bunch of hang-ups, because we're telling you right now, it would be weird if you didn't get hang-ups. People hang up all the time. But when they call into the number, the 800 number, their phone number is captured for you, so you have their number. You can still call a hang-up, even if they didn't leave a voice message. So, I'm drilling this in because this is something that comes up every time, and it's something that frustrates people. And there's other things, and the reason why we're telling you about this frustration, because a lot of people that get frustrated, they just quit. And that is the worst thing that you can do, because getting through this frustration is part of your process of becoming an expert at this. Other things, your prospect won't answer the call. You'll get their voicemail every time, or their voicemail is full, or they may even chew you out, for even calling them. They may say, yeah, call me back. I'm going to take a look at that website. And then when you call them back, they never answer the phone. They may tell you they're going to join as a free member, and they don't. They'll hang up on you. They'll tell you they're joining, and then they don't, and you can never get in touch with them again. There's all sorts of things that can happen. A lot of people, do this. This is more of what you're going to see than those people that go, yeah, sign me right up. Those are sweet little moments. But you see, this process of going through the frustration and handling the objections and getting this experience, that is what makes you an expert, not when everything goes great. So, don't be frustrated, or you can be frustrated, but don't let that stop you, and don't give up. So another thing I would say about that, if you're not having success and you're almost to the, you're like to the middle of your list, maybe it's the middle of the campaign, we're on day 7, and you're not having success, I do recommend that you evaluate yourself. Go back to your phone scripts. Go back to this mindset. Read this manual again and recondition your mind, because there may be something that you're doing wrong that, because there is the possibility that you could do something wrong, so if you find that you're not having any luck at all and you've been through, halfway through, go ahead, go through the training again, read your manual again, evaluate yourself honestly, and maybe you can tweak it just a little bit and think to yourself, well, maybe I didn't let that prospect talk enough, or maybe I was too businesslike, something like that. Which leads me into the next page, which the big secret of all of this is, not so much what you say, but it's how you say it. And as I alluded to before, one of the most common mistakes you can make is sounding too businesslike. None of us like it when we get home from work and the phone rings and there's a telemarketer. And before you know it, they've been talking for 30 seconds and you don't even know why they're even calling you, and they go right into this big old presentation, and all you want to do is hang up, and maybe that's what you do, because I do that a lot. We don't want to be those people. We are not telemarketers. As Brian said before, these people genuinely want to know about this product or they wouldn't have called in. So when you call people, you need to do a few simple things that I've found really work, and I've got them bulleted here for you. And these are simple solutions to avoid turning people off. And one is to smile when you speak. When you're smiling, even if you're on the phone, people can pick up on that. If you just woke up out of bed, people know you just woke up. If you've ever answered the phone when you were asleep and the other person will say, oh, I'm sorry, did I just wake you up? People can tell what your mood is when you call them. Mirror your prospect. If your prospect answers the phone and they sound bubbly and energetic, then you're free to be that way as well. You want to mirror their attitude, because that makes them comfortable with you. If they are very quiet and reserved, don't be loud and boisterous and, joking. Be more reserved. If you can tell that they're conservative, be conservative. If you can tell that, they've had a bad day, you might want to just tell them who you are and ask them if you can call them back in just a little bit. Be considerate. Mirror your prospect. This is something that especially the women are going to pick up on really easy. So you guys, you might have to work a little harder on it, but mirror your prospect. Always, always be considerate, friendly, and accommodating. Never, ever, ever get defensive. We not only have our own pride on the line here. We're not begging anybody to try our patch or become a free member or join our business. We don't beg. We strictly don't care whether they do or whether they don't. Some will, some won't. So what? Next. We don't care if Mr. Prospect that I'm calling right now wants to get my patch or not. That's what you need to have in your mind. But you also need to be so friendly to that person and never get defensive, even if they do, because we're not only representing our own integrity, but we're representing our company. And so we want to always, be the cream that rises to the top, and no matter what gets thrown back our way, we're going to be polite and give those people, at least when they walk away, go, well, at least they didn't give me a hard time about that. Don't do all the talking. This goes back to not being too businesslike. And you're going to find in our phone scripts that we introduce ourselves and then we ask a few questions. We want that prospect to engage with us, you see, because we are building a relationship over the phone with someone. And the only way that that we're going to be able to stay in touch with them is if we do a couple of things, and these are very important. Don't do all the talking. Ask them, specific questions, which we're going to tell you some that we would ask in a minute. Don't do all the talking. Ask them questions so they can talk. You know, relationship building is never one-sided. It's a bridge. It's a give. It's a take. And that's what we're going to be doing with these people. You want to sneak in some personality. You want to let them see a little glimpse of who you are so that they know that you're a real person and not just a telemarketer. And then we're purposely going to keep, especially our initial call, very short. We do not want to overstay our welcome. We're not going to be convincing or explaining or anything like that on our first call, because if we do that, they are going to be less likely to pick up our phone next time because they don't want to commit themselves to a 30 or 45-minute phone call with you again. So we're purposely going to keep it short. So basically, these are the things that are so important. This is the most important thing probably. And posturing, again, I've hit this a couple of times. I want you guys to come in here and read this really well. I'm just going to hit the highlight on it. But, you know, as you see, I have written here, don't dwell on the nose and don't take it personally. Amateurs try to convince and sell, but professionals sort. And so when we talk about sorting, I alluded to this a minute ago as well. You know, you're going to learn who's really interested and who's just, you know, you're going to run into people that are lonely and they're just going to want to talk to you and ask you a lot of questions. And you're going to learn how to work through the best use of your time by sorting. And again, you're going to see in our phone scripts that we do not try to sell over the phone. So, you know, we've got a website built up for that. We've got presentations that Brian is doing, and it'll be on a site specifically for our prospects here. And you guys can come back and read the pre-call checklist. I'm not going to go through all of these. They're just little good things that you should have in mind. Remember, if you're in a bad mood, or if you just had a fight with your spouse, or if your dog just used the bathroom on the carpet, or whatever it is, and you're in a foul mood, that is not the time to pick up the phone. Pick up the phone when you're in a good mood, and if you're not in a good mood, put yourself in a good mood, because these phone calls need to be made as soon as possible when people make them. If you can make that call right away, you know, it's better than even waiting 24 hours, but definitely do not wait longer than 24 hours because people will tell you, I don't remember calling in. And when they do that, you know, that's like an uphill, you're rowing uphill, you know, rowing upstream, I'm sorry. So, you know, phase one of the initial call, remember, we're going to go through these. Are these the phone scripts, Brian?
Not yet. We're actually going to be switching over to the phone scripts here. But I think that, you know, Jamie, you hit on such great points, and I definitely want to reiterate a few things. Number one is these people have called to find out more about this patch. That's all you're doing. You're calling them to tell them a little bit about you, tell them, learn a little bit about them, and get them in a position to where, number one, they can hear more about the patch, see more about the patch, learn more about the patch, buy the patch, or start with the referral program. One of those four major things. And I think one of the biggest don'ts, as you see here on the screen, is do not attempt to explain our compensation plan, the business opportunity. Don't try to explain the referral program too much. Don't try to get into the 9 ingredients that the patch has. Guys, remember, everything that you need to be doing has to be duplicatable. And so, you know, we want to be able to get these guys in a position to where they can learn about the patch and learn about all the stuff that goes into this patch. But you don't need to go through a long dissertation and read them the Magna Carta about what's going in the patch and why it works. I think that's important for Dr. Rouse or one of the videos to be able to do, and let the presentation videos explain to them how our referral program is going to work so they can get the product for free. And I think that keeping you brief, making sure you're energetic, making sure that you seem like you're enjoying the phone call, but also be very personable on the phone. And I like to say just what Jamie was saying, use the friend filter. If the way you're delivering your dialogue to the people that are calling in from the radio campaign, if you're saying words, if your statements, if your sentences are different than what you would say if you talked to one of your very best friends, then change it. Deliver the dialogue like you're talking to a friend. You don't want to be stiff and rigid when it comes to dialogues, and that's really my forte, and that's where we're going here just in just a moment as we shift gears and get into the dialogues. I'm going to teach you about spaced repetition exercises and how to learn these dialogues, how to learn them and how to lock them down. But make sure that they they flow just like, use that friend filter. If your friend would look at you, you know, a little googly-eyed if they heard you saying what you're trying to say to one of these prospects, then you need to change it. You need to make the adjustments. And the beauty of these scripts, it allows you to do that.
One thing I would also like to add, this is really, really important. You know, a confused prospect always says no. You know, always. So that's why we don't give a lot of information over the phone. We send them somewhere where they can be uninterrupted, watch a presentation, read about the ingredients, read about how the free member program works, where they can do all of that without being interrupted. Because if you forget to say one thing, well, you're going to sign them up, and guess what? It's a deal breaker. It's a deal breaker. So as Brian said, it's not duplicatable. Some of you could, you know, give a dissertation on the ingredients, but we don't recommend that even if you know how. Most people would rather look at it and read it for themselves, you know, just alone, quietly. So please do not get into these long things. Now, the initial call, all we're doing there is building a bridge. We're trying to find out why they called in, what it is they're looking for, and we're going to try to get them to go on over and watch the presentation on how they can get it for free. And Brian, do you want to handle this part?
Yeah, I think as we get in here, there's going to be a number of scenarios, and you know, for time's sake and for just to make sure that the people that are viewing this particular webinar, that you don't just get so bored in the mundane process of going through dialogues, we're going to hit on a couple of these and just talk about how to sort of you know, enlighten the mindset a little bit when it comes to dialogue training. Notice here, Jamie has got some great dialogue, some great scripts that you guys can use in different scenarios. Like this first scenario is somebody who's ready to buy the patch. There's going to be people that are ready to buy the patch. You know, they've been through things before. They may have heard of a patch from somebody before. Who knows? And if they're ready to go, we certainly want to take them in that direction. We don't want to deter them from that. But realize learning dialogues is an art form. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick role play for you. So if I have a guy by the name of John, and John called up and he left his name and his voicemail, and his name, his email, and his telephone number on the voicemail rotation system, and he became one of my leads. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I've got my script in front of me. Always keep a copy of that. But I'm going to recognize that, you know, I've got some flexibility here in the script because, again, I'm going to use the friend filter, and I don't want to sound so rigid and robotic. And so the initial phone call is going to sound something like this. Ring, ring. Hello. Hi, can I speak with John, please? This is John. Hey, John. Brian Bailey calling here with the XIP 90 fat loss patch. How are you today? He's like, who? I'm calling for the XIP 90 fat loss patch. You heard about it on the radio. I'm calling because you left your number, your name, and email, and everything on our voicemail system. So how you doing today? And he's going to be like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry about that. Hey, listen, John, I'm sure that you're really busy, so I want to be real brief here. Tell me just a little bit. I know you heard the radio ad. You called in. Obviously, there was something that intrigued you. So what intrigued you with that radio advertisement? Was it about, you know, looking better, feeling better, eating better? Talk to me a little bit about what intrigued you to call. Let me get off script now. What I'm doing here, guys, is I've introduced myself. Okay, and notice I wasn't so rigid with my words. I wasn't so robotic. I let it flow. I let myself stutter just a little bit so it doesn't sound so scripted. But also, I'm still controlling the call because I'm asking the questions. I'm not letting John ask the questions. You know, I can't get to a point to where I show weakness in the phone call to where you know, where I go, you left your message on our voicemail system. Do you remember that? And where he goes, yeah, I remember that. Hey, what's this thing all about? I can't have him asking questions like that. You got to make sure you're the one asking questions. You're staying in control. Because if you do that, that means that you're going to have a better chance to stay on script. If he starts taking you off script, now you might start getting too informative, too descriptive, get too wordy, and now we could blow our chances with a good prospect before we even get a chance to get them and take them down the chute that we need to. what I want to do is I want to get John talking about, really what's going on in his life. Why did he call? He may tell me things like he's tried all different types of diet programs before, or he's been on Weight Watchers, or he's been on all these supplements, or blah, 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 whatever it may be. I need to get John talking, because the more he tells me, the more ammunition I have in terms of getting him involved with this patch. Because if I know more about him, if I understand why this patch is going to work for him, it's going to allow me to make sure that I can match his current situation with this particular patch and how this patch is going to benefit him. So once he starts elaborating, I'm going to ask more probing questions like, well, that sounds good, but tell me a little bit more about that. Or if he's mentioned something, I go, well, elaborate on that just a little bit. You mentioned that you had done Weight Watch, all this stuff, but elaborate. How long you been on that before? And tell me how the results were. Tell me what you liked about it. Tell me what you didn't like about it. What were the results like? I'm going to keep asking questions and keep probing him, because the more I keep him talking, the better off I am. Then we're going to get down to the body of the script. Once I find that he is kind of done talking, I've got to get back in control of this. All right, and so once he tells me, I really, really, just need some help getting over this hump, when it comes to weight loss or my fitness, I go, great. This patch can definitely help you with that. In fact, our patch has been in development for over 10 years, and it just hit the market about 3 months ago, and so it's formulated with all these 9 natural ingredients that deliver faster, longer lasting results than anything you've ever tried. All that stuff you were telling me about, John, it's nothing like this. It's completely safe. It's extremely effective. And truly, it's the easiest way to burn fat 24/7. And people are able to make it a lifestyle patch, because it doesn't really involve anything more than really discreetly wearing the patch. You just put it on, and the patch gives you the edge that you need, really, to make the changes that are needed for you to look better and feel better, eat better, etc. Let me tell you a little bit about my situation with the patch, because I think it'll probably enlighten you a little bit more if you understand where this information is coming from. Boom. I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to go right into telling my story. Okay, I'm going to tell a little bit about it, tell about the fact that, I've been working out pretty consistently 3-4 days a week in the gym, but I just got to that point now that I'm about 40 years old where I just couldn't lose that last 10-15 pounds. I was actually fortunate enough to be able to be one of the trial runs of the patch, and over the first 4.5 weeks, I dropped literally 11.5 pounds, 12 pounds almost. And these were the pounds that I was just having trouble getting over. It wasn't that I really needed to lose a lot of weight. It was just that last 10 or 12 pounds that was the most challenging. That's where I struggled. And I took the patch, John. I used the patch every day, and it worked. And now, I'm passionate about this patch because I know that it works. And so, right now, we can get back into the dialogue after I tell my story, and I can say, John, we want to help you get the results that you're looking for. You've been on diet programs before. We talked about the results. Would you like to order the patch, or would you like to get more information for it? I'm going to give him an option right now, but I'm still asking questions. Many people are going to say, I want more information. And Jamie's put this in green here. If they want more information, then you're going to send them to the website. We're going to have that with Jamie. Do we have that particular website that we're sending to them, or we're going to work on that? We're going to work on that.
I don't have it, but I'm going to put it on. I'm going to put it on the blog. But it's probably going to be XIP90info.com.
Okay, XIP90info.com. Chances are.
Don't go there yet if you're listening to this right now. If this is the first campaign, because it may not be ready yet. But that's more than likely what it will be.
Yeah, it will be ready hopefully by the start of the campaign. We will have that up and running for you guys. Now
it'll be ready by Sunday.
Yeah, when John asked me, he said, I'd love to buy the patch, but tell me a little bit more about pricing, etc. Now we can go right into the scripting that Jamie's got here. This is great because it just lays it out. There's no fluff here. It says, John, listen, you heard the radio ad. The reason why we're running that radio ad is we're trying to get the word out about this patch, and we have a special promotion right now. A 30-day supply of that patch. If you were to go online right now and order off the website, would cost you $74.95 plus tax and plus shipping. That only comes to $2.50 a patch. Not bad. However, because I have the ability to refer you into the company as a preferred customer, I can get you signed up as a referred customer absolutely free. It doesn't cost you anything to get the same exact pack of patches for only $60. You're saving almost $15. And as preferred members, this will also get information on how you can get your patches absolutely free. And I can give you more information on that later. So, John, let me ask you, would you like to take advantage of the preferred member price? If John says yes, we're going to take him right to the preferred member sign-up process, okay? And we're actually then going to see if we can cross-sell him. Jamie's done a good job. She will never let anybody off the phone if they want to buy the patch without talking about the Simple Meal. You know, she's going to say, hey, listen, we also recommend adding the Simple Meal shake to the order as well. It's perfect with the patch for maximum weight loss, and it tastes great. I mean, it really, truly does, and it's all natural, all organic, no artificial sweeteners. You can add a 30-day supply to that particular order for a preferred member cost as well for another $60. So if you want to do the patch, or you want to do the patch and the shake, you still get the preferred member pricing. Okay? Let me show you how we can get you signed up as a preferred customer absolutely free. Take them right to the actual site, guys. If you need to, go in and you do it for them. All right? We talked about frustration when you have people on the phone. One of the frustrating things that Jamie mentioned is people tell you, oh, yeah, I'll go in there and I'll sign up as a preferred customer, and they don't do it. Well, you can guarantee that that won't be part of your frustration if you go in there and actually do it for them, and to make sure that you do get them signed up as a preferred customer. Okay. Also, you can educate them, you know, about the patch. Jamie goes on right here to write in this dialogue. John, you're going to receive the order in 3 to 5 business days. Also, this credit card transaction will show up as a payment to XIP. That is the company that manufactures the patch. That's who makes the patch. So your invoice is also going to come to you in the mail with that from XIP. Would you mind if I email you a special report called the AB Solution by Dr. Charles Rouse and a link to our information website that explains the rules for getting your next patches for free? I mean, if you don't mind, I'd love to send you this, because you're going to get more insight on how you can get the patch and other things absolutely free, how you can reorder, etc. And more importantly, see the results that people are getting. You mind if I shoot that out to you real quick? So again, still asking questions, still controlling the actual call. All right, Jamie, did you want to add anything to that dialogue?
No, that's really great, except the name of the report is the AB Solution.
Oh, the AB Solution.
So we need to say that right.
The AB Solution.
And it's a report of foods that people may be eating that would sabotage their weight loss. So it's a free report that we do have that was written by Dr. Rouse, and that is going to be made available to everyone. It's also going to be on the website. So, you know, it's just another free thing that you can give people.
Awesome. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm reading the dialogue and I'm with AB Solution. So make sure you call it the AB Solution. Yes, can you hear me? Okay. And the one thing, guys, is that, you know, as you look at the follow-up calls, if people go and you send them you know, to the website to view more about the patch, to see Dr. Rouse's explanation of what's in that patch. Oops.